3 years ago, Swiss and I did a podcast and no one watched it, but now we somewhat have fans, so we're bringing it back. This is the Spit Out. I'm Jefferson.
I'm Swiss.
And we're also the disc golf world. Throw that in there too. But this is the day of Waco. It just finished up Sunday night.
I feel like we need a tagline, like "Spit out like Prodigy baskets."
Hey, flows right into Waco.
Yeah, no kidding, right? There was a few of them.
I feel like I didn't hear anything the entire weekend until the final round, and it was just boom, boom, bam, bang.
Then it was like Prodigy baskets all over the place. Yeah, I don't. It's getting tiresome. Like it's kind of overplayed. You know
I started writing my intro for like this section of this too, and I didn't even gonna mention it. And then after the Simon Spit Out on hole 6, the final round, I was like, dude, I have to bring something up about this, because even we have a Slack group where people share opinions all throughout. Link in the description, you can join too. But after that, it was ridiculous. Everyone started calling it getting prodigized. I think that's how you say it, at least.
I know that's kind of lame too.
I saw it. Though. I guess a good pod. I'm like,
I guess it's like posterized type thing. I get it. I get the play, but like, come on, like, be a little more creative on that. Like that's all. So.
But not only Prodigy baskets, because that wasn't the biggest. We're not going to do that this entire year. We're not just going to be basket standardizing, because apparently that's coming. I saw a post about it. So allegedly, we're going to see this problem getting fixed. But another issue that keeps...
I'm sorry, I couldn't help but laugh at that.
Hey, I'm trying
this is the Spit Out. Allegedly, yeah. And we're still like, what? We're in like the second phase of the testing program, which will probably have a third or a fourth phase. And I'm sure we won't see much from it. But like, whatever.
But we'll keep you guys updated if anything happens. But this will be the second week or second tournament of the season in a row where we're having some sort of spotter or person interaction with the disc and play, with Ezra Robinson's on hole 17. Keeping it in bounds this time. Usually we're talking about it costing strokes. This time, well, kind of. Well, it's kind of saved a stroke. I feel like if it goes out of bounds, Ezra hits the putt, right? So either way, it works out.
Yeah, or at least he like throws it to where it hits metal.
What I want to hear first before we go into what, because I don't think there's a solution to the spotter thing. They just got to get out the way or stand in a better spot. But what about, did Ezra lay that putt up, or was he running it? Because that's what I've been seeing everywhere on social media.
I get why everybody believes it because like, man, it was just like so short. Like it wasn't like, I was gonna say, like, if you're gonna fake it, like at least airball it. Like, you know what I mean? Like don't put it on the ground. So like I don't
Sounds
know.
like you're saying he laid it up.
It does feel like it when you watch it, but I will say like Ezra, like, but yeah, man, even so, like Ezra's known to like miss 25 footers, but they're like air balls. Like they're not like short to the ground. I don't believe so, but he says not. So it's a nothing burger until he admits it. But like, I feel like in a week and a half, and like Alden's vlog, it'll like come out. Like, you know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
To where it's like, yeah, I fucking did that.
I will say, putting, we all know, super mental game. He was probably thrown completely off by that situation. He felt bad. You could tell by his face. So I could see him just in his mind stepping out to it, knowing, hey, maybe I don't deserve that, and just completely ruining it. She was
standing at such a terrible spot.
Dude, I know.
Like that's where it's coming in, and I get from the looks of it. And I'm not trying to be accusatory of anything but it's hard. I want to preface that she's a volunteer, but from the looks of it, it looks like she was standing there to like save her running over. You get what I'm saying?
On the other side?
Yeah, and people are kind of saying like, well, she's standing there to see where it crosses or where it's. I like, no, I think you're supposed to stand on the other side and then like come on over to make sure it's OB. You don't stand in the lie of incoming forehands.
Pretty close to the basket too, where it covered it.
It was bad. I don't think she was there the final day. I think it was somebody new. There was definitely nobody on that side. Yeah, no one on that side. So yeah, but like she also had nowhere to go. She was in like no.
You jump in the water.
Oh man,
that's the only option.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'm a proponent of you're with the player. If you're getting hit, you gotta eat it, and you're saved a stroke. Kind of, like I said, kind of.
That's a fair point.
We had more drama with Hamas's OB, not OB. I don't know what. I mean, it was OB. It was OB, but it was not OB.
Yeah.
What in this situation do we do? First of all, we all saw the picture. I will say there are claims of, hey, this isn't a good angle of it. And I'm really hoping so. I'm really hoping that's true, because I could not find a single blade of grass to where I could call that thing in bounds.
This is not a good angle. But somebody took the time to really take a photo from above, up close. But it's a terrible angle, right? No, it looked OB to me. And it played that way. Well, it didn't play that way. It didn't play that. But like as far as a solution, there is none. Yeah, so suck it up. Like
people are going to say the solution's like players step up, and
if you're playing, you're in no position to make that decision. You shouldn't say a word. Now, there was words said that probably
that makes it a little bit more controversial.
Yeah, yes. But like, no, you got 3 other people that are supposed to make that decision on that card. You're not supposed to be part of it. You shouldn't see it. You shouldn't be saying it. You shouldn't be fighting for your case. Like, that's the one thing that, like, if you're gonna do a rule change, that's what you correct. Because like, even like, you had Paul's OB throw where there was kind of a debate, like, you know what I mean, where they're discussing it. Like, I don't think the person who's throwing should be stating their case. You just got to eat it, and whatever the group says is what they say.
So you don't think that when he stepped up or whenever he said it should have been benefit to the player?
No, you shouldn't. Yeah, it shouldn't be like that. The thrower should not have a ruling, a say, or any.
I say it feels weird because there's 3 other people on the card, and you can see it. There's no, I wasn't looking. Like, you can go up to the disc and see and make the call. There's 3 people. But there shouldn't be a tie.
No, you can't talk every week about spotters being interrupting play with disc and then talk about like, yeah, you need governing officials and you need this. There's no money in that. That's not going to happen. It's not like, stop talking about it. Stop bringing it up. It's not there. It's not what it is. The decision's not there. Now, like, I do know there's dgpt officials, especially on lead cards. So that, like, yeah, they're only supposed to step in when asked. So if they're not asked, they're not supposed to say anything. But like, that's another bit of a one where it's like, it should have been ruled. But yeah, if there's a rule change, the person who threw it in question should not be fighting their case, saying anything. That's the only thing that you can do. And then maybe other pros will get in line and say, hey, no, that's this. But like, the argument is like, everybody's friends, everybody's family, everybody tours together. You're not gonna rule against them. And I kind of also, like, as bad as it sounds, benefit goes to the player. Like, it's kind of the right ruling, and as far as like the rule book mentioning it, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not like you have to have it that way, because that's the way that we're self-governing. So if there is a dispute, instead of like arguing it and having poor feelings on it, you do just say, hey, benefit, and move the on. Like, you get what I'm saying? So like, I kind of get like why the rule book states the way it states, but it's like, yeah, I think the worst look is not that it was OB or in. The worst look was like when AB was just, or not AB, when Hamas was just kind of came up and was like, hey, benefit, right? Like, that's the only like thing that made it worse, because now that's what puts it into question. That's what creates the controversy. That's what creates the debate. But this is no different than getting hit by spotters. This is always going to be it. Like, we had it with Emily Weatherman last year. We had it all over.
I've seen other pros speak up on this is a case again for no painted line OB, and there needs to be an extra measure to make clear calls. I'm not sure what that is, if string is the option or what, but
yeah, I prefer string. I'm not going to argue, because then you're going to have the thrower always say, well, there's a blade of grass, it's in, you know what I mean? So like, and the way like the disc comes in and all that, like, so I get it. Yeah, lines are better, but you're still going to have disputes on that. Like, even Emily Weatherman's was huge, and that was a line. That wasn't, you know what I mean? That wasn't painted. So no matter what, this is going to keep coming about, and it's going to keep ruling. And no matter what, everyone's going to be upset about it. Like, that was Emily Weatherman's was the opposite case, where they said this was OB, and people are fighting and saying, oh no, that wasn't OB. And then now we have the opposite. It's a shame that it's became such a crucial moment in this round, because of like how great of an action it was. I think it's going to be forgotten, but I think all the media are going to have to mention it. Everybody has to bring it up. Everyone has to talk about it. That's why we're doing it now. But it didn't take away from the final day.
No, not at all.
This is kind of the stuff where we said on our channel where it's like, hey, it's not bad to have short courses, or this plays out well where everybody's in it and it creates this action. You had so many people involved so late, and you had like the hottest round. Granted, the conditions were perfect for it, but still, like, who doesn't want this week to week? You know what I mean? And we're going to go, hopefully we get the same thing with Austin, but like, you get to some of these other courses where, you know, like MCOs, where like there's separation with just 3. And it's like, yeah, I'd rather have some names that aren't familiar be up there and some others. And like, it was incredible. Like, it was nail biting. Everybody was involved. Our Slack group was just blowing up. Like, this is what disc golf needs more of.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think when you would give opportunities for birdies, there's a lot more action. Simon just made a video where he gave his case. I mentioned it in yesterday's video too, where I think this is the disc golf we need to lead into. Not we're going to extremely hard places that only the top of the top can perform well, because you don't get action as you do here. You don't get random chase card tuning where you're getting excited commentators talking about players from all over coming into the place. Even the people that didn't, like Jake Mon shot +1 round one,
Yeah.
but shot 15 down the final to shoot himself all up the scoreboard.
Is it 15 or 14? I think
Well, whatever. It tied
whatever.
Paul McBeth's course record 18 down or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like, it was a legendary round. He was able to shoot up the leaderboard, and it shows, and it's cool to see stuff like that happen. And you see it from all over. What was it? 17 down was the cash line.
Yeah.
It's not like you're just seeing good golf, and I don't understand why we're steering away from that.
Yeah, and the bulk of the holes also you can see lined up with the tee. You can always see the pin for most of the tee pads, and it's great. And some of them are just absolutely just pure, like, skillful butter shots that just play, and it's like, this is what we need more of. Like, as far as like, this will play more to the casual or the people who don't know disc golf, where you see and you get an idea, okay, what are you doing? When you have 1,000-foot hole and you just see people throwing bomb after bomb, you don't necessarily like play into like where they're going, what's they're doing, what's that. Like,
you have no idea of how to throw discs and what that happens.
Yeah.
If you don't relate to it here, you might not relate to it, but you understand what is happening.
Yes, absolutely. You're close to the action. You know where, like, a bad skip or, solid terrain. And now all of a sudden that 15 to 20 footer goes into like a 40 footer and you're stress putting. And like, that's what creates the tension. And then like also to have some of those Eagle Bowl chances late helps to, before you get into, everybody wants to talk about 17 and 18. And I get it, right? They're probably one of the two sickest finishing holes also. But when you got Eagle chances coming up before that, you also have a lot of opportunities for a lot of scoring shifts. And I think that's also comes into play. That's not recognized enough with what Waco does. And it kind of played in a little bit, you know what I mean? But yeah, as far as what this was, great performance. Waco should not be, there's always talk of like Waco possibly being downgraded, not being in. It's got great turnout. It has great action. It has history. It's got everything. I think it's almost a mainstay at this point in time, especially. And then who knows? They're working on another course allegedly, and maybe that will be just as interesting. But every time I think that it's going to happen, I think there's going to be a lot of people that just say, "Hey, let's do it at
the Beast." Iconic, been on the tour since 2017. How do you feel about the changes this year? You saw the first one on 15, bringing it back. It wasn't there last year, I think, because of spectating and putting people along that line. But then you have this year bringing it back at the power box section, the gated off, actually playing OB for the first time ever.
I kind of like the OB play. I think it was more detrimental for the FPO than it was the MPO, or at least I feel like it kind of came into play more there. But I did enjoy it. It did cause havoc. It did create scoring swings. I'll agree with Brian's assessment. I forget what hole it is, where it's a par 4 and he thinks like you should throw from the FPO tee and make it like a stressful par 3. I think it's right before you come out of the woods. I can't remember which one it is, but I kind of agree with that one also. That would be my other change. And then just trying to make that a par 3 and make it a little bit more of a tester, like 420, 450 par 3, and like being able to see a birdie on that would be kind of sick. So, but yeah, I appreciate the changes. That's the only problem with the Beast, as far as like you have limited space for like vending and along those lines, but and in large part because the crowds show up, and that's a good problem to have. So I understand why they went Laco last year and they adjusted this year, and I think it played out great. Yeah. Ryan Draper doesn't get enough credit as far as a TD in the game, in all honesty. Like what he's done with Waco, what he's done with that course, and the team over there is kind of special. And I think he should get recognized a little bit more. Like I think a lot of our TDs should get recognized more, but Draper's kind of like a little bit lower on that list that most people don't think of. And unfortunately, because that to have that turnout, that spectator, like very few issues as far as how the course is played or what's not. Like I think the largest issue last year was the one tee box I can't think of very much apart from like stuff that's out of his control as far as the spotter and rulings by players on certain things. Apart from that, like that tournament was solid.
I'll say he has their throws, sets up, whatever you want to call it, the after party fly mart. That is probably the best one that I went to all the tour. On the bridge, it just the scenery's dope. They have places for, I think last year, I don't know if it happened this year, but Kevin Jones was on the DJ. You had lines of people vending.
Yeah.
I saw this year Captain Merch was walking around like a microphone, a boom mic, just talking like what you like. It's just a complete experience, and I want to make sure I could reiterate how awesome of a time it was and what Waco brings to the tour and the stop. It's a very home vibe.
They have like a putting night at a brewery on like Thursday night. That's also sick. Like there's the whole week of events for Waco is well worth the trip. You know what I mean? And it's one of those stops that like surprised me. Like when I was there, where I was like, I get it now. And it's always rated up there. The players love it, and they put man, and the people that put up pros, like there's not a pro that can't find a place to stay and over in that area. So like even that's sick. But yeah, Waco is easily one of the best stops. Probably like at minimum, like, I'm probably thinking like minimum top 10. And I think it's pushing top 5 stops I've ever.
One last piece of drama, will you call it?
Sure.
Simon Lizotte slipping on hole 18. You saw that?
Yes.
Happens, right? So I'm trying to not make it not big a deal about what I see. The only issue that I had was they made a point of bringing up how dangerous it was and how it was incorrect and how it needs to be fixed and how it dated. And then it happened on camera to one of your favorite players or best known players. And
I'm sorry, what they were bringing up, like how that, like it's just raised.
It's not facing the right direction how most people play now. So the way that Simon has to approach it, it's a little bit more slippery and dangerous. And
I think there's also like a little bit of aid with like the dust storms that kind of went around also. So I think that had a slight factor to it. But as far as, I suppose you could widen the tee pad.
What I said was they made 18 tee pads at Waco last year. One of them can be still in use, right? They got them.
There's got to be somewhere.
He's got to be laying around somewhere.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that or just extend the concrete to widen it out. That might be a little bit. But yeah, like man, I kind of hate that talk because no matter what you watch, every pro they always start off the tee, even if it's straight. Like the bulk of them, like large percentage of them are starting off the tee and stepping on. So like even if you widen it or even if you put it in that direction, they're still stepping off the tee in the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I don't think that's the issue. I think it's facing like this way, and they got the.
I suppose, but like you as a course designer are setting the tee box to where you kind of want to dictate the throw. And granted, I know the pros are kind of trying to break the hole or make it scoreable, and now the game's progressed so much that now everyone makes that throw, like especially in the MPO. So like, I get the argument, but at the same part, like when that tee was established, it was established for that reason, and so I don't mind it.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm trying to not make a whole big deal about it. The best part about Simon's vlogs now is I can be like, "Oh, something happened to Simon. He'll explain it for you. He's got you."
Let's click play. Yeah.
Running down, because I don't need to do a whole in-depth talk about the play. That's what yesterday's video is for. If you're here, why the hell are you here? Go watch that thing. FPO, she's back. She's going to dominate or what? What do you see now?
Man, she didn't even play.
Tatar.
She didn't. Oh.
I said Tatar. Kristen.
Yeah, sorry.
Lot.
Yeah, that's still going to be hard, difficult.
Oh, damn year.
So she didn't even play her best and still dominated. The field, I think FPO as a whole needs to like kind of get their putting in line. But granted, her final day, Lot was 100% from circle one. The other 2 days, I think she was closer to like 50-60%. So like she's
73% on the weekend from C1.
Yeah, and I know she was 100% on the final day. So like even when she's not playing her best, she's still dominating, and there's still separation there. And until some of the better throwers get into that higher percentage, it's not going to happen. Like in all honesty, you need a Henna and Evelina to kind of get into the 70% putting.
Henna was 51%.
Yeah. It would be different. Like if they're in that stretch and they're playing that, they can. I think both of them are at times better than Lot off the tee more often than not on most courses. And so if they can like hit their putts, it would be a game changer. Like Holland's also there. She can hit her putts, but like, man, she kind of gets like the Yankees, like when she's off the tee at times. And sometimes her forehand's kind of like, same with like Ella. So you need a little bit of that play, but yeah, I think Lot's going to dominate this year. I really do. Contract year. And I think it's going to be, if the play continues this way, I think it's going to be pretty easy. But Rebecca Cox had a great final round. There's 2 course records set on the final day. Rebecca Cox and Mon, like we discussed early. So I think she's been playing well. She's a little bit ups and down, but she's much more consistent, and along those lines, she's there. And I think there's a lot of aspects to be excited about FPO, but it's a one-person show at this point in time.
It seems like Kristen's come to here to take over again.
I don't even know if like
she won by 6.
Yeah,
more than that 7.
Yeah, 7. And like this is a course where there's not much separation. Like also like, you know what I mean? And I don't think like, how do I say it? Like I don't think she has that like Paul Macbeth dominating, like I'm going out there to win mentality anymore. I think she's kind of like got the zen, forget about the last throw, going to the next one. I think like earlier she was out that she had more of that like I'm gonna win it, and either way it works. Like she's going places. Like
she's went places. She's just back. Just keep on dominating. Over on the MPO side, then, Adam Hammis taking it down, real exciting there. And we can bring up the OB line thing, but we're not going to because it doesn't matter. We already talked about it. It was exciting, though, all the way down to the final hole. And even the closer you got, the more I feel like the chase card was prevalent in being there. So it was fun to see that, just that tough. I mean, honestly, that drive from hole 7 might have been the most disgusting thing. Like that is so pretty, basing the eagle, and then I don't understand how you do that. It's such an awesome, magnificent shot, and then cold.
Yeah,
for a 5-hole stretch, just pars.
For him to be that resilient and to come back was really impressive. And we've seen Adam Hammis at those times like get in his head, and for him to recover along those lines. And granted, a lot happened for it to happen, right? You had some OB, you had the Vinny kind of blow up on 17.
Vinny's whole round was not good.
Yeah, no.
It's tough to see him and AB final rounds just are not there.
Man, AB's another one where like he was so upset with himself like the entire round, and he still hung around, which is kind of scary. Like if he's upset with how he's throwing and he's still doing that well, like there's things that happen. And I think this early in the season, I think there's a lot to be out there. I think Gannon Burr's putt is off to the left and low too frequently, and that's weird to say for Gannon Burr, to where his putt's not there. Do I think he'll fix it? Certainly, but it's not there right now. And like we said, if AB is not throwing his best and he's still in contention for 2 weeks now, that's impressive. And so I think there's a lot to be watching out. Paul's resurgence. He's granted, I think these 2 courses play to Paul's strengths a lot. So I'm not too surprised, but
you're not ready to call McBeast back?
No, I'm not there. I know a lot of people are. I'm not there yet.
His putt did not look good for him. Super hyzers, man.
Yeah, and he was kind of shook
in his head.
Out there. Yeah,
his mental game. You can tell that he's there and he knows that his skills are there. He just can't put it together as he once could.
No, it's kind of I get the frustration that he has, but no, I'm not ready to crown him back. I'm really not. That's for sure. But I think these courses play to his strengths, and that's kind of why he was there. And I'm trying to think of man, who else? You had some other didn't you
dude? Nico Castro throwing lefty, bro. Yeah. He's doing that on 16 and 17, just pinning them, but putting them close.
Yeah,
I can't tell if that was I'm just gonna flex on these nerds or if it was actually a part of his game that we're gonna see.
I think the way those holes line up, it is part of his game. I don't know if we're gonna see it that much.
That's cool.
More. But yeah, I think, and why not? If it puts you in that position the way it is, why not? Man, who else? Didn't Evan Scott have a good final round also?
Evan Scott shot 12 down, jumped up 11 spots to 5th.
Yeah.
Him and Evan Smith, the two that everyone gets confused. I'm an Evan Smith. I'm not even both their fan, but I've been on Evan Smith since 2021 on my fantasy team. I really thought he had it, but he was making some simple mistakes just in that final round.
17.
But he's putting himself there. He's putting himself in contention of things.
Yeah, that was a heck of a signing by Dynamic. I think it's gonna pay off in the long run.
I touched on everyone else that took tied for 5th, so I feel bad not mentioning Andrew Marweed, who shot 13 down the final round, jump up 15 spots. That's pretty cool. His putt's on fire. I saw there was a comparison of after day 2 of Calvin Heimberg, who was like 100% circle one or missed one, and Andrew Marweed, who missed was 26 for 27 in the wind. So Andrew Marweed, I would love to have a pop off here. He's always in the mid 30 pack. I feel like at the end, if he's gonna barely make the championship or not, but one of the nastiest putter on tour.
Absolutely, and for him to get into the top 10 already this year is kind of usually that's like off into the Midwest is where he kind of gets there, but for him to already be there, pretty good sign for the rest of the year.
I also read this completely wrong. There's a huge tie at 5th with also Grady Shue, Greg Barsby,
Grady
and
Shue
Calvin Heimberg.
also, yeah. Grady, like man, like I'm not trying to like disrespect Grady Shue, but like you're watching late coverage and you're like Grady Shue's on like second chase card or chase, like you know what I mean? Like it's like good for him.
He's good for pop off, man.
Yeah, he always has like that one tournament like where he's kind of like up there. Yeah, you're right. And this kind of layout does make sense to like his skill set too.
Are you shocked by any poor finishes? Ricky Wysocki, Ezra Robinson, maybe not up as Isaac Robinson too. Maybe not quite up there where the standards are.
Ricky not so much. Ricky doesn't fare that well at Waco.
I agree with that.
This course does seem to play out more towards Ezra and Isaac's game, so they might be a little bit surprising in my opinion. So those two. There's a few other. What I think. Gossage is down there. I think.
Are you surprised by that? He was shitting on the course. Did he go below the cash line?
He didn't. Man, he finished below the cash line.
50th place. Ouch. So notable non-cashers: Cole Redolin, Joey Buckets, Alden Harris, Matty
Joey Buckets
O.
is kind of surprising. Yeah, Joey Buckets is a little surprising because this is another course where I think Joey Buckets this is a course where he can be strong at. He played well there last year. Matty O.
Tough, 59th. You got Gavin Rathbone and Luke Taylor tied for 70th.
Ooh.
Jeremy Colling at 79th. Yeah. Oh my God, this one might be the
like
worst.
when you
Luke
think,
Humphreys 90th.
Whoa,
that's tough.
Yeah,
that's our guy.
The veterans having poor performances is kind of surprising because this course doesn't change enough to where like you're coming in knowing what your throw is. There's not enough like changes to it. Now, granted, I understand wind is a huge factor, especially on 2 days. But yeah, like any veteran like Matty O, Humphreys, Colling, like those being as low as they are, those are surprising. It's the newer pros, a lot less. You know what I mean? Because like if you're off and like you get a kick, you're in no man's land. Like you're scrambling from there. So, but it's the veterans that like. Where you're like, hey, you know what you're doing. You can play this course blindfold. Like Barsby, I think right now, like he's also did fairly well. Like Barsby can play Waco blindfolded, I think, and still shoot 10 under. I really do. like for sure. Like I think he can just step to the tee and kind of do it. So yeah, like those would be the more surprising than like the newbies not faring well. So
second tournament of the year. It was fun. It was exciting the entire time. Any last words about it?
No, the season's been great. Discraft is 2 for 2 in MPO. I think that's going to be a theme for the good chunk of the year. And yeah, like the excitingness of this and where it's going. And I was never worried about the play. Like I think the play is going to be up there as some of the best ever. And it's already kind of showed. And so my concerns were never about the play. And I think that's going to show for the remainder. I really do. I think a lot of the top brass are very close. And I think whoever's can put it together for 3 days is going to win. You know what I mean? And you had a bunch of people who put it together for 2 days, and you had one who kind of put together for 3.
you guys enjoy this style of video, please let us know in the comment section below and keep bringing it at you. Or
keep spitting it out.
Yeah, we're bringing it back, baby. No one watched it then, and it was kind of fire, but hey, we're here now. Let us know because
fire with the fireplace behind us. We had like the fake
dude,
fireplace.
it was dope. Someone like there's 3 people that have watched that stuff.
Probably.
So Dondo, I know.
Dondo,
I know you're
Dondo is
straight up OGs.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely bringing it back. The podcast, people have been saying it. Quick hitters right at you. See you in the next one.